Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terry. This is our 18th episode, and tonight is our third session of our Homebuyers Boot Camp. A reminder to everybody that you can find all 18 episodes on this Facebook site. You can find them on my real estate webpage, and we'll also post links in the chat for each one of the episodes. I don't think I have episode 17 up yet, but you can find last week's episode on the Facebook page where you found this. Secondly, anybody that wants a copy of the best-selling book, hardcover edition of Your First Home, please give us your contact information so we can get a copy to you. So let's begin. This is our Homebuyers Boot Camp, which is an attempt to get people into home buying. Basically, what we want to do is we want to kind of compress it and give you the important details and follow you and help you as much as you want. That's what we're here for. It can seem complicated. It can seem drawn out. But that's why we're here. We're here to help you because we've done this many, many times. I remember back when I bought my first house, I was not a realtor then, but I really didn't understand the process that well. It was all new to me. I didn't have anybody to help me out along that path. And basically, I bought it for sale by owner, so there wasn't a realtor involved on either side, and we had a lot of issues because of that. It took a long time to close because a lot of things weren't, a lot of tasks weren't completed on time. So it helps to have a realtor, working with you on a timeline to keep things going. Last week, let's just recap a little bit. Last week we discussed down payments and the fact that even though there may be some down payment assistance available to you, you are still going to have to come up with some cash to close. Generally speaking, the higher your credit score, the better the loan product you can qualify for. But the bottom line is the best loan out there is an FHA, guaranteed loan, or a VA, a Veterans Administration loan. So if you were a veteran and you qualify, the VA is the best way to go. No money down. FHA is 3.5% down. So even if you come up with some down payment assistance to help you with the down payment, and you're still going to have some closing costs and you're going to have some upfront costs before the closing, like a home inspection that you'll need to pay for out of your own pocket. So last week we talked about doing a budget. This is a copy of a simple budget. It's good to know where your money is going and where you might be able to save some money. There are also many apps out there that can help you do the same thing automatically. Many banks have their own budgeting software, and if you're using your debit card or your credit card to pay for everything, you can get that itemized and broken down for you. So this was another budget that we presented last week. This is generally used more for business. Many of you may have a business, but what you'll see is there are three columns there, green, yellow, and red. And the reason for that is it's color coded. A are items that are critical. You can't do away with these. Rent, electric, maybe you're paying water, um, a car payment, food, uh, school clothes. You can't eliminate those. B are items that are nice to have, but they're not critical. What could fall into that category? Cable TV, depending on what package you have. There may be a cheaper package out there for you. Not everybody needs 170 channels because a lot of times, care how many channels you have, you still don't find anything that you want to watch at that moment. So simplification might be the key in many things, and there might be other things that you can trim costs on. You might be able to trim some of your costs on your electric bill, maybe some of your entertainment costs. Column C are not essential at all. Basically, these are luxury items. Everybody needs a little entertainment, but maybe you could scale it down. Sometimes there are deals on movie tickets through Living Social, things like that, where you can buy things on discount. So it helps to do a budget, go through it line by line, and oh geez, I lost my screen here. What did I do? Well, we'll try and get this up. Thank you. So it's a good process to tackle. Once again, line by line by line. It also visually helps you see how much you're spending and where your money's going. Sometimes the apps will present this in a pie chart, which is a little more visually easier to comprehend. We also talked about Down Payment Resource, which is a website that I have, and you will find the link to that in the chat. If you can't find it, contact us. We'll send it to you. What you do is you log on, you click on the link, and you enter some basic information about yourself, and be honest, and it will tell you what down payment assistance you might qualify for. Now, these are state, government, federal, local programs. These don't include what a bank might have, what a mortgage company might offer for a first-time home buyer. So it's a good indication of what you might qualify for. But then you have to go into a little bit more detail with these programs. You'll get a report, and it'll have links to programs that you may qualify for. Then you have to go to those links and see if you actually qualify based on the information you provided. And if you need some assistance with that, please contact me. I'll be glad to help you. We also looked at some apps that might help you with your savings. Acorns is one where you sign up and it will take your spare change, for lack of a better term, and it will take that money and it will put it in an investment like a mutual fund. And you should be able to see some appreciation with that. Oftentimes, those extra coins add up. Trust me, after a year or so, you could have a few $100s with that. It's just as simple as not really missing the money that you don't have. In a sense, everything gets rounded up to the dollar, and that money goes into a savings plan. That's the bottom line. We also explored some other ways that you could save money. One of the simple ways that you'll find out when you do your budget is, I used to like to have a latte every day from Starbucks or whatever. I just drink coffee now. That's a savings of $4 to $5 a day. At the end of the month, you might be able to save $300 if you set your mind to it. After 10 months, that's $3,000. There's your closing costs. If you're looking to purchase let's say a condo for $100,000, well, 3.5% is $3,500. Your down payment assistance might help you with that. And then your closing costs, an inspection for a condo isn't really that expensive. Some people don't even have inspections. So there's $3,500 you have to work with. So by now, you've looked at your budget. You've put in motion some methods to save a little money. You've talked to a lender, maybe one of these preferred lenders that I work with all the time: Matt Weaver, Cross Country Mortgage, Kevin Crookham, Caliber Home Loans, Danny Poulios, Milestone Mortgage. These are all good people that will pull your credit, will go over your credit with you, and make suggestions. It might be that you need some help. Let's say you have $25,000 in student loans and you've been under forbearance, or you're in a payment plan, or you're not in a payment plan. You might need some help with that. There's a lot of help available with student loans and repayment programs. Credit Brain has a great program for student loans. Based on your income, you recertify it every year. There is an upfront cost, and then there's a monthly cost. But would you rather have a lower payment and give it to a credit company, or give it to a bank that loads you money at probably a very high interest rate? Debthelper.com, same thing. They have great programs. Some of these places can renegotiate your debts. After you've talked to a lender, there may be some debts that you might be able to clear on your own. Especially in this economic climate, many debt holders are willing to settle some of these debts for pennies on the dollar. And, if you use the right language, you can get it removed from your credit and not as a write-off, as a closed account. So what's your next step? Well, most people want to go out and look at houses. That's what gets the blood flowing. That's what gets you excited. But until you get a pre-approval, there aren't many realtors that will take you out looking for houses. Why is that? Well, you don't know how much you qualify for yet. You don't know what price range you might be looking in. And houses sell pretty quickly today. In this market, there is a very low inventory, depending on the price point you're looking at. And some houses sell the very same day. Some houses sell in 3 to 5 days. So it really makes no sense to go out and start looking at houses until you've got a pre-approval and you understand what your limits are. Some people like to drive around and look at signs. Well, yes and no. I don't think that's a very efficient way to look for a house. The most efficient way to look for a house is when you have real-time data, which comes from the multiple listing service, which only realtors have access to. So if you're working with a realtor, if you were working with me, and we kind of had an idea of what you might qualify for, but you don't have a pre-approval yet, I can set you up on a search, an automatic search that will let you see what properties you might qualify for. And we have some calculators that I'll discuss in a few minutes that can kind of give you a rough idea of what you might qualify for, but you seriously don't go out looking for houses until you have a pre-approval, especially with COVID. There's no sense having people opening their house and letting people come in to their house that aren't in a position to purchase yet. And you know, it's not a good use of anybody's time. So this is a sample of a pre-approval letter. You know, it's just it's not from a local lender. It just kind of gives you an idea of what it's going to say. And basically, they're conditional pre-approvals, meaning based on the information that you've given, they are likely to loan you this amount based on certain conditions. The certain conditions would be that they see your bank statements every 30 days, and they do a little bit deeper dive into your financial situation. Here's another one from a bank. Now, some lenders don't do letters until you have a specific property in mind. What they will do is they will tell you what monthly payment you can afford. And that can get a little complicated because you don't really know what monthly payment you would pay on a house you're looking at. You can guess, but times have changed. You know, technology has improved, and we now have calculators. Here's a calculator from one of the people that are on the preferred lenders list, Kevin Crookham. Just about everybody has a calculator. And what you do is you just type in the purchase price, the down payment, the interest rate, the loan term, 30 years, the property taxes on the property. Now, you get the property taxes by going to the property appraisers page. It will also, if I'm sending you listings from the MLS, whether it's on a big sheet like this or it's on the mobile app that I send them out on, it's going to have the property taxes on one of the lines. That's what you use. However, you have to remember that that might not be the same amount of property taxes that you will actually pay. But for the purposes of qualifying for a loan, they use the property tax that's on the MLS. How could it be different? It could be homesteaded. You know, they could have a disability exemption. They could have an over 55 exemption. They could have been in the house for 25 years. And your taxes can only appreciate a certain percentage every year. However, when that house is sold and a new buyer comes in, then the taxes jump back up. So this is a good calculator to have. It's free, and I can send you the link if you're interested. Once again, this is from Kevin Crookham. And many of the lenders have their own calculators, online calculators. This one's good because you can punch in the HOA, you can and it will automatically calculate the mortgage insurance. It'll automatically calculate everything up and tell you what your payment would be. Now, let's say that, and also I have a calculator that I can also send to you. You just have to ask for it. Let's look at what you might receive if you've gotten to the point where you've gotten a pre-approval and you're ready to start looking at properties. So what I do is I set up a search in a certain price range or a certain neighborhood on several factors. Maybe you need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and I set it up on the MLS. And it will get emailed to you. First of all, you'll get all the properties in the categories that you want that are on the market right now emailed to you immediately. Thereafter, you'll get the new listings. If you wish, you can also get the solds, so you can take those off your list. But this is the first thing you'll see. You'll get emailed a link, and this is the first thing that you will see when you open the link. It'll have the address. This is a property from Miami. You'll see that it has the MLS number. It has the price, and you'll see on the right-hand side in the middle, it has a map that'll tell you exactly where it's at. Then you can also go to the picture, and you can scroll. I think there can be up to like 32 pictures on here. And it also looks like there's an arrow down there that there's also a video. So there might be a video tour of the interior of the building. So that's the first thing that you see. Then as you scroll, as you look down, you'll see more information. It's pretty self-explanatory, the county, the parcel ID. Parcel ID is important because you might want to look that up on the property appraiser's page. Make sure the address and the parcel ID show up. You can also see previous sales information, and you can get an idea of why they're paying the property taxes that they're paying. It'll tell you if there's a homestead exemption, what exemptions they have. And it will also tell you how long they've been in the house. Tax short sale. It'll tell you if it's a short sale. It'll tell you REO means it's a foreclosure. So it could be owned by a bank, it could be owned by some other lender, or it could be owned by a corporation. HOPA means age restrictions. So basically it's housing opportunities for, lack of a better term, senior citizens. Some of them are over 55, some of them are over 62, some of them are over 65, and each of them have their own restrictions. Listing agent's not that important to you. Actually, you won't see that. That's on the agent's view. It'll tell you how many floors, less than 4 floors, more than 4 floors, what kind of construction. That's important because many people don't want wood frame. If you have a wood frame house, you have to have a termite inspection. It's called a WDO. Your insurance might be a little bit more, depending on if you're in a flood zone or how close you are to the ocean. It should tell you what the view is, north, south, east, and west. Give you a description of the lot. You're going to be, if it's in the city, it's usually going to be under a 1/4 acre. Sometimes you'll see, an acre and a quarter. Exterior features, you could see several things on there. You could see a storage building, a fence. Parking, this doesn't really tell you too much about parking. It should tell you, is there a carport? Is there on-street parking? Is there a detached garage? It's pretty much self-explanatory what type of heating there is, what type of cooling there is, equipment included. Nothing's really included here. What type of roof it is, in terms considered. For this particular house, they will only accept cash. Why would they only accept cash? They probably don't want to deal with an inspection. Or maybe the house has already had an inspection and maybe it needs a new roof. So what you'll see in that category is cash, seller financing, FHA, conventional, VA, and in some areas you'll see USDA. It's mostly rural areas, some places in Pahokee, some places in Belle Glade, some places up in Martin County, Port St. Lucie. Those might qualify for USDA financing. So, next week we'll talk a little bit more about the search for a house and what the protocols are, how you start the process, what to look for, what to look out for. But let's remember that the longer you put this off, taking the first steps, the odds are more in favor that you won't actually take the steps. This is a great opportunity in this market right now. Interest rates are the lowest they've ever been. Is it a little bit harder to qualify for credit? Not really. It depends on the lender that you have. Some lenders are very good at working with people. The lenders that I work with are very prepared to work with first-time home buyers, to work with people that have credit issues, to work with some of these down payment assistance programs, which can have a lot of paperwork. And some lenders don't feel the need to go that route. So basically, let's not miss out on this opportunity to get you into a house, a condo, or a townhouse. And if you want to see what some of the differences are in purchasing and financing each one of those, you can look through our previous episodes because we've covered just about every topic that can be covered. They're only a half hour, so I encourage you to go back and view them at your leisure. Next week, we'll pick up again, and that will be our last Homebuyers Boot Camp episode. And we will tie things up and really get into discussing what it's like to be out there looking for a home and be in a position to purchase. Up until now, we've been discussing getting in that position. Now, don't get discouraged if you've talked to a lender and the lender said your credit score is too low, it's going to take maybe 3 to 6 to 9 months to get you in position to purchase. Don't give up. We'll work with you on that because it's possible. I've worked with people for over a year and we've been able to get them into a house or a condo or a townhouse. So, I just ask you to stick with us, to take the steps. And if you have any pitfalls, if you have any times when you feel it's too complicated, give me a call. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to make the process as simple as it can be. I'm here to take all the problems away from you and help you solve them. That's why I work with the lenders that I work with. That's why I work with the home inspectors that I work with. And I also list and sell houses. So I understand the seller's point of view and I'm able to negotiate better for you. So please, please, please take the first step. Take the first step, pull your credit. After you get your credit, discuss it with a lender. Check out the down payment website. See what you might qualify for. Give me a call. See what the next steps might be. Get a pre-approval if you can, because then we can get you out looking for a house. Thanks again, everybody, for watching Tuesdays with Terry. I hope this episode was informative, and I hope I've been able to motivate you to get out there and get you into your first house or another house. Remember, if you haven't owned a house in 3 years, you're still a first-time home buyer. We'll see you next Tuesday.